Hello, hello, friends. It's probably Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. We are on idea number 4 in our ideas journal, and we're doing, I'm not sure what to call this. I don't know what I'm going to title the video quite yet, but it's like an expanded pocket, a gusseted pocket, a pocket tag. So basically, it is a tag with a pocket, but what's cool about this pocket is it's wide. It has gusseted edges. So that makes it so you can fit a lot of stuff in there. I only have 3 things in this particular tag, but you could fit a lot more. I mean, you can see the gap there. And then you can either paper clip it to the edge of one of your pages in your journal and use it as a tag to write on, or you can glue it right down to a page. So I think this will be a pretty quick video, pretty quick tutorial. So hang in there and we'll get started. I've chosen my papers for this pocket tag that we're making together. I'm going to use this floral one for the back or the base of the pocket tag, and this craft paper for the pocket. So of course you can make this any size you want. For this one today that I'm working on, I'm going to do 6.5 inches tall by 4.5 inches wide. I believe it is already 6.5 tall. So I'm going to just cut it down to 4.5. Okay, and then I'm going to cut down my pocket. And I want my pocket to be 2.5 inches tall. So I actually need to cut it at 3 inches because we need an extra 1/2 inch to fold over. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. And then width-wise, I cut it at 4.5 inches. So I need to add 1 inch to that. So I need to cut this to 5.5 inches. Again, so I have a 1/2 inch on the left side and the right side to fold under. All right, so I'm going to get my scoreboard now. And we are going to score our little pocket. So 1/2 inch, can you see? Here we go. 1/2 inch here, and then in 1/2 inch here, and then 1/2 inch at the bottom. Okay, so we can see those scores now. Now just get the scissors and just angle that a little bit, just so I'm meeting up right with the score line. Just a little angle. And then at the bottom of the pocket, I'm going to cut right through where those 2 score lines meet. I'm going to cut right through, just like that. I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay, now let's fold this. Fold our little tabs, or gusset, I guess. And then get your bone folder. Just make sure that those creases are nice and tight. Queso. Who knew this was queso? I'm not talking about cheese. This show isn't about cheese. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and worry about this. Oh, if you want to do any inking on this inner flap of the pocket, now would be the time to do that. So I am going to just do a little bit of inking along the top. All right, do I want that? I think I want this to be the bottom. All right, so I'm paying attention to the bottom flap, and I'm using Fabri-Tac. Here's a tip for Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to throw this out there. So, you know, if you've used Fabri-Tac, you use it, then you set it down, and then it's like all of a sudden like a volcano slowly erupting from the nozzle. It's just coming out by itself. So here's a tip for you. When you're using it, just squeeze it a little bit and then just keep that pressure and then turn it upside down. Wait for the glue to come to the bottom, and then apply your glue. And then release. So that way it's sucking air back in. And that'll keep it from from it like exploding and coming out the top on its own. I know, quick tip. All right, so now I'm just lining this up with the very bottom of my card. Now it has to be centered too, because we have those little flaps. So I'm just lining that right up. And once you have it lined up, grab a little bit of masking tape. And this is just, it's not really necessary, but it will help when you're putting some stuff into your pocket later. It'll help it from getting caught on that flap. It kind of helps it glide right over the top. I'll just apply that. Oh, why did I put the lid on? You need that. Okay, and once that is done, we can glue down both of these sides. If you have any parchment paper close by, it might be a good idea to grab it and kind of slip it into this pocket so there's no chance of you gluing your pocket shut. I normally do that because it has happened to me. I'll just say it. Okay, so once that is stuck down, just kind of squeeze it like this just to make sure your pocket isn't glued shut. Just check. So that looks really good. All right, this is a quick project, I told you. Now we can go ahead and I promise I'm trying not to say that, but it just comes out. Now we can round our corners. Now you can make the top of this a tag shape, just round the corners, make it a Mickey Mouse ears, unicorn head, whatever you want. But I have been kind of leaning towards the rounded corners on these lately, so I kind of like that look. And you do want to use cardstock. If your paper feels a little thin, you can, of course, add something to the back. Where I don't know yet if I'm going to be gluing this one down to the page or if I'm going to be paper clipping it to the edge of the page. Of course, if you're gluing it to the page, you don't need to make it more sturdy. It's going to be glued to a page. So I might add something to the back a little later on. So let's go ahead and decorate this. I think I'm just going to put maybe a little bit of lace. And let's put a word. I got these out because I wanted to use them. I'll put a link for these below. They're just little alphabet stamps that are really handy when you want to make some word, just at the drop of the hat. You can make whatever word you want. I think I want to put reflect. So let me get a little piece of paper. I found a super skinny scrap, so we'll see if I can keep it in that small of a paper. Okay, so let's do reflect. Okay, let's see if we can keep it on that tiny little piece of paper. Not too bad. I'll do it a second time just to see which one is better. I think that one's a little low. We'll make it work. Okay, and I think I want to put a little bit of this too. Leftover scrap. All right, so let's just start gluing stuff down. Squeeze, tip. I love this paper. I've been hoarding it. I think I bought it a couple of years ago, and I thought I'd dig it out so I could make some of these pocket tags. And I just love it. I'll put a link for it below. This is the paper pad, but it has some really pretty, mostly neutral papers. I really love it. And they're cardstock, double-sided. So really pretty. So I'll find it. I'll find the link and I'll put it below if you're interested. Okay. Use this one. A little inking to kind of highlight those edges. I think I need more ink. Okay, that'll fit right there. I got a darker piece of cardstock so it would stand out a little better. I don't know how, but I have a lighter color of craft paper and a lighter and a darker, so kind of strange, but it'll help it stand out a little bit. There. Maybe there. Okay, now I have some tags prepared. I prepared them ahead of time. So I have 4. And so that little paper will match that, so that's nice. Let's just pop these in here. And I'm starting with the bigger ones in the back, of course. This was just, another scrap paper pad. And there. Look at that. And I can still fit more in there. That's what's so crazy about it. All right, let's put something up here. I just wanted to kind of see how it looked and see how much room I have to put a hole protector. Hole protector? That doesn't sound right. Hole reinforcer. Hole reinforcer. Yes, that's it. Not hole protector. Okay, let's get my paper hole punch. I'll just try to make a hole back here. I turn it around so it just seems like when I turn it to the more plain side that I can center it better. Does that make sense? Okay, and now we just need to do a hole protector, yes. Hole reinforcer. I did it again. Hole reinforcer. Sorry for reaching. Okay, this is just a 3/4 inch hole punch. Hard to center it when I have shadows. Okay, so I'm going to get the Fabri-Tac and put that on. Now let me grab the other ones that I have done so we can kind of take a look at the other toppers that I put. So I've done ribbon, did ribbon on that one, fabric on that one, and I've just tied a knot, just a little knot like you would when you're starting to tie your shoe. You know what I mean? So I've done these all the same, but I'm using different things: ribbon, cheesecloth, fabric, and then ribbon again. So I just kind of, I don't know, you go through phases of how you tie your tags, and I'm kind of in that phase. This is kind of the look I'm going for right now. So I'm going to use the cheesecloth on this one. And I just got a green one. So I want to use the green. And this stuff, I think I mentioned it in my last video. It's a cheesecloth table runner. So it's very long, like 120 inches. I mean, it's a lot. And it's just maybe $5 or $6, but this is going to last me forever. And they have all these cool colors. And so, yeah, I just get it and cut it into strips and pull on it just like you would cotton fabric. And just tear it into little strips like this, and then good to go. Let me grab it. So when it comes, it's vacuum packed, but and it's all twisted up, all pretty. But yeah, look at how much fabric that is. It's tons. It's going to last me forever. And the cool thing is, it just pulls apart, like you can make it look all frayed and cool. Because after all, it's cheesecloth. Now this side does have a seam on it, so it's not like pulling apart as much as the other one. Because see, I tore a strip off and there's a seam on it, so it's not wanting to separate as much, but you get the idea. Look how cool that looks. I got black too, so I can't wait to use the black. Okay, enough of me rambling. I should have done this before, but let's ink around. I'm not so much worried about the tag as the pocket. I'm going to do a little inking. And you, of course, can put little tag toppers on the stuff you put in here, too. I've just done the very front one, just so there's not a lot of, bulk sticking up, although that might look really cute to put tag toppers and ribbons on all of them. I really love that. Okay, let's get our ideas journal. I think I'm going to put it here. I'm still in the first signature. Normally when I'm making a journal, I start with the first signature, then I'll put something in the second, then the third, then the fourth, whatever, and then start back over. But in this ideas journal, I've done everything in the first signature so far. I like how this has the green on it already. And I think I am going to glue this to the page instead of paper clipping it to the side. Yeah, what's cool about that is if you have some page that you don't like so much, I don't know, maybe you put a page in your journal and it has a really pretty image on one side and then just random text on the other side, and you want to cover up that random text or cover it somehow, even if it's just a little. This would be a perfect thing to do that, because you could make it almost as big as your page, and that would hide a lot of imperfections or things you don't like. Okay, there we go. Tell me what you think about it. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for staying until the end. I very much appreciate it. I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.